2 hours. We are 2 hours away from President Trump's ultimatum deadline that he set for Iran to come and reach a finality. I hope it concludes. I hope it concludes peacefully. That is where my prayers are going towards. I want this situation with my whole heart to conclude as peacefully as possible, as quickly as possible. We will find out together if we reach a positive conclusion. And that's all I can wish, all I can pray for. I believe that this whole situation has been a massive tragedy, and I have my political and human views on the topic that I want to refrain from sharing because I know that you guys want crypto commentary specifically. So that's what I'll do, but I'll also touch upon what President Trump posted, which I didn't find acceptable earlier on in the afternoon. What is the latest from the geopolitical conflicts from the eyes of the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who's been trying to broker a peace deal between the countries involved in the conflict? What is the latest from President Trump's administration? What is the latest from Iran? All those topics, Bitcoin price analysis, we will get into on this video. Stay tuned until the end. And if you do enjoy this update, do me a favor and kindly destroy the like button. I'll be honest with you guys, I've not slept in just over 30 hours, and that's okay because I'm here to give you the best updates that I can. That's my job, and I'm very happy to do that job. But if you can like the video, if you've learned something new, or if it helped you out in any way, those likes help reach a brand new audience as well and grow the channel. So if you can do that, then it would mean the world to me. With that said, let's start off with the latest breaking. Then we'll pivot over into markets, and then we'll conclude with President Trump's latest comments, the Trump administration, and Iran. Breaking. Prime Minister of Pakistan 1 hour ago stated that diplomatic efforts for peaceful settlement is ongoing. It's progressing steadily, strongly, and powerfully, and he is asking President Trump to extend the deadline that is set to expire in 2 hours. It's very interesting that it's going to expire on the exact moment that after hours trading is going to come to an end. President Trump, if he approaches this in a more escalatory stance, it will cause huge amounts of volatility, in my opinion, negative volatility in the markets. This is why and President Trump is notorious with this. Whenever he gives a big decision, he does it when markets are closed, often on a Friday night. We know this from the Trump tariffs. So for me, I am net short for the short term, which I will exit if Bitcoin goes above 77K. I know I'm overlapping into the Bitcoin TA now, but I will exit those shorts if Bitcoin goes above 77 and we can reevaluate. But for the long term, I think right now is a fantastic price to be accumulating. So I'm accumulating for the long-term spot, but for the short term, I am in short positions. That's a quick summary. We'll go over it in more detail. President Trump has replied to the Prime Minister's request to extend the deadline by 2 weeks. And in the meantime, Prime Minister was asking for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz out of grace within that 2 week period, and the Strait of Hormuz is still considered to be closed. President Trump stated that he refuses to comment on ongoing negotiations. Trump declines to address Pakistan's request for a 2 week extension. The White House confirmed that President Trump is aware of the proposal and that a response is coming soon. I would assume that would be within the next 2 hours. The US is preparing, according to President Trump, to carry out heavy strikes against Iran if the 8 p.m. deadline is not met tonight, if negotiations with Iran make progress today, and something tangible emerges. The deadline could change. If the deadline ends without reaching an agreement with Iran, the US will launch an attack the likes of which they have never seen, quote unquote, from President Trump. See, honestly, I have absolutely nobody has any idea. With this scenario in particular, nobody has any idea on what will really end up happening. Will President Trump back off? Will President Trump put boots on the ground? Will President Trump do X, Y, Z? We do not know. Nobody knows. That is the simple truth. We will all find out together. But it would be great if we can come to a peaceful resolution, conclude this as soon as we can, according to Vice President Vance. The US feels confident that they can still get a response by 8 p.m. tonight. The deadline is coming close and there's still nothing. However, senior Iranian sources stating to Reuters, they mentioned that even though Pakistan is trying to create a message of ceasefire, a message of peace, the US has not changed their tone on Iran's expectations, which is things like covering costs for the war, and they still want to have control of the Strait of Hormuz that President Trump sees as a non-negotiable factor. So there's a lot of disagreement on the core key concepts of what a ceasefire and what peace would entail. This is why I'm hesitant to be more of an optimist than sadly a pessimist. We'll all find out together. The Strait of Hormuz, as of right now, is not open, which was a key factor, as President Trump stated yesterday. It's a key factor to end this conflict. The Strait of Hormuz has to be opened. President Trump says that he has the greatest plan of all, but won't reveal what it is. Classic, classic Trump. So that's the breaking, all right? That's the breaking today. Was the, according to Pete Hegseth, the highest amount of strikes conducted against Iran since the beginning of the conflict. They were hitting Karg Island, which has 90% of Iranians' oil exports going through. That has been hit majorly. Dangerous for the prices of crude oil. President Trump also posted a video, a cryptic video of New York in 1929. That was the starting of the Great Depression. Was this video shared by President Trump to say, hey, look, even though you were going into a Great Depression, New York looked beautiful, so don't worry, even if we go into a Great Depression, things will be fine? Is that what he's trying to do? I don't know. Honestly, I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit scared, I can't lie. President Trump also stated that he wants to seize Iran's oil to boost US energy dominance, but he will probably not do that. He's also promoting his meme coin gala luncheon. Like, it's a mess. It's a total mess. In my view, it's a total mess. Bitcoin trading at $70,000. We're playing the textbook price structure as what we did in January of this year. So earlier, about 4 months ago, Bitcoin was in a bear flag. We grabbed liquidity. We broke below the support of the bear flag, retested support to turn it into resistance twice in the formation of a W pattern, then dumped 33%. Now, Bitcoin is also, again, in a bear flag pattern. We grabbed a liquidity in mid-March. We broke below the support line, turned it into resistance twice again with a W formation. So it looks very similar. We're in a bear market. In bear markets, it's better to be bearish than bullish. In bull markets, it's the opposite. So all these things put me in a more cautious, pessimistic manner. If the war is over, praying to God that it is, then markets will rally. Amazing. Everybody's happy. If there's an extension of the deadline, there will be a temporary rally, not as vigorous of a rally. I don't think it would cause Bitcoin to go to 77. Let's see. It's something we will all, once more, find out together. What did President Trump say that I found to be unacceptable this afternoon? Well, he posted something quite strange. Yesterday, he mentioned that Tuesday is going to be power plant day and bridge day. They want to attack, if Iran doesn't come to a ceasefire with America by 8 p.m., they want to attack power plants, they want to attack bridges, which technically violates many conventions. And if they do, it could be considered war crime because these attacks impact innocent civilians. This was an interesting message that I also didn't like. Today he posted a whole civilization, quote unquote, President Trump, a whole civilization will tonight never brought back again. But then he also ends off the message stating, God bless the people of Iran. Horrible, horrible. Trump presidents in the past, during times of conflict, during times of war, have shared certain quotes that are controversial, but none of them were like this. This is something else in a negative way, in my personal view. I don't want to get too much into it. Some news sources are stating that military commanders may not want to, or military personnel may not want to continue with the operation because it can have severe civil implications. Other commanders are stating that President Trump should potentially get impeached by these doings and the 25th Amendment needs to be imposed. So there's so much happening that it's a big bubble of confusion, a big negative bubble of confusion. Yeah, I just I can't comment more, but it's frustrating, it's disappointing, it's upsetting in my personal view. I think President Trump has done a good job in certain things. Apart from this conflict, I think some economic decisions, crypto related decisions were good, but this one, no, not for me. Iran, final point to end off. What is the current stage with Iran? So, Iran is saying that they're ready for both peace and war. The president, if I'm not mistaken, made a statement which covered that 12 million people are ready to go out and fight. Iran is a very big country. It's not a Venezuela, it's not a Cuba, right? So, yeah, just pointing these out because these happen. So I'm just saying these things to update you. China and Russia have vetoed a UN resolution to protect commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Israel already began strikes against Iranian rail infrastructure, and they're telling civilians to avoid train travel. Of course, I mean, there's already some retaliation from Iran happening because of that, in my view. But if there are attacks conducted by America, those retaliations on neighboring countries, they said it can even potentially extend out of GCC, the retaliations. Iran said this it would lead to a disaster. It would lead to a huge, huge, huge disaster. A huge disaster. They're also threatening to close Bab el Mandeb waterway in the Red Sea. This controls about 12% of seaborne oil export. Horrible for the price of crude oil. So I'm not bearish on crude oil yet. Let's see. It will probably be very volatile by the end of today's trading day. Tomorrow's trading day too. If you want to trade the volatility on crude oil, you can check out BTCC, second link in the description below. As a crypto native person with just your email address and password, you can sign up and trade crude oil. That is on BTCC, second link in the description down below. And that is the updates. This to me is horrible. Like this is, I can't fathom how somebody can say this. Anyways. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe. I'll be going live in exactly 2 hours and we'll cover the deadline together. See you all very soon. Bye bye.